Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network. Once again, I am ScottyD, and it is a pleasure to have the Hunter Autumn GT tournament preview for you guys this evening. Joining me tonight, we have got Sam, who is not only a part of the ATWN, he's also does the Wide World of Warhammer podcast on the Down Under 40K network, as well as one of the coaches for Team Australia. How you doing, mate? Great to have you joining us.
Thank you very much for the warm introduction, Scotty. Great to be here. It's been a long time, but I'm glad to be here, and really looking forward to the most pristine guest, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jake. How you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, yeah, good. Thanks for having me on. I'm not on the ATWN that much, I don't think, Emma, Scotty, but yeah, no, it's good to be here, and it's good to be here on the receiving end of the questions.
Yeah, no, I just definitely say you're on a fair bit now that we're doing the for the new guy content between us.
Yeah, and loving it, mate. Loving it.
It's good. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the Hunter Autumn GT, which Jake is one of the TOs with Alex the Greek as well. So we're going to be chatting all about that. And I want to thank everyone who is joining us live. We do these streams over on our Twitch channel the Monday before the tournament, so you guys have that information all fresh, locked in, ready to go for an exciting weekend of tournament coverage. And it's great to have Nate Saunders in chat and everyone else who's hanging out. And if you're watching back on YouTube, it's great to have you guys joining us for this video as well. Now, funnily enough, this is one of the few events this year that I'm not going to be at. I'm not providing the commentary this weekend. We've actually got the esteemed Alex the Greek is going to be on commentary for you guys, along with one of our newer team members, Ben O'Rourke. He's going to be jumping on doing all the tech side of stuff and jumping in with color commentary with Alex as well. It's going to be really exciting to see both these guys do really well. I'm going to tune in a few times over the weekend, so you might see me in chat at points. But yeah, so without further ado, let's jump in to talking about you gentlemen. I reckon let's get a bit of introduction, because it's been a while since you've been on, Sam. And we'll get a little bit more of a briefer background from yourself, Jake. But just, Sam, kicks off with a bit of an introduction about yourself, how long you've been in the hobby, what armies you play, where you're located, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, sure thing. So I've been in the hobby for quite a while now, but followed the very stereotypical story of I played it when I was a kid, and then I got out of it, played it more as a kid, then got out of it. And so I've been playing consistently since I ended uni around 2019, 2020. So I had my first tournament in 9th edition, at the very start of 9th edition. And my favorite faction of all time is Tunids, so I've been a big Bug fan for a long time. But since I got back into Comp 40K, look, I've expanded and collected many armies, and I'm quite the meta chaser in a number of ways. So I'm not shy about it at all. So right, yeah. So I won't sit here and list off all the armies, but I've collected quite a few and played a bunch over time. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and I'm glad to be part of this wider community.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to have you once again, brother. Yeah, as I said at the start, very long time. I think you did a couple of events very early days of the ATWN, like back start of 2023 from memory.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I remember, so obviously I met yourself, Scott, through when you did streaming at the Jolt game. So we met, Scott and I met in Canberra originally, and then since then we moved to greener pastures, maybe. I don't know. Well, I think we'll say the greener pastures. So I've moved out to Queensland, so I live out in a bit of rural, not rural, but not as rural as some people, but in the Toowoomba region. So moved since then, and then obviously Scott yourself have moved elsewhere. But yeah, obviously both. I sort of met you, Scott, early on back in the day in the Canberra scene with the escalation leagues, and well, since then we've definitely injected the plastic crack addiction straight into the veins.
Yep, that definitely was not missing from me for a good while. But yeah, Jake, give us a brief intro about yourself, brother.
Yeah, look, I've played Warhammer. I've been back on the scene for a few years now, probably 3 or 4 years. But before that, I used to play a little bit as a kid, and you used to love it. And then it sort of fell away from me until till only, yeah, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I really got the itch and got the bug back again. So I wandered myself into good games at Maitland there, and then the rest was history. After that, I was indulged again, and yeah, just fell in love with the game. It's where I met heap of the guys from quite a few good teams, especially the one we created, the veterans of the Long Neck. So shout out to you boys in the chat. And yeah, I don't think I've dipped my toes into anything but Imperium. I'll be honest. I'm the goodest boy. I always played Marines, and most recently through 10th edition played a fair bit of Guard. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. So I'll pass it over to you, Sam, for the next one.
Yeah, sure thing. So, Jake, obviously, talking about the Hunter GT this weekend, you're taking the old stomping ground down the 40K. You're stealing the company or represent, I guess, territory. What's going on here, buddy? You just got a hostile takeover to start organising events there. What's going on?
Yeah, look, just in here throwing my New South Wales weight around, basically. Nah, look, I've always been really good friends with Jacob at Maitland Good Games, and he's actually helping us out with a few prizes and stuff like that as well for the event, which is good. Been really good mates with all the down under 40K guys and stuff like that as well. So, Alex and I have always envisioned doing a hunter event, and I was talking to a few of the vets, and I said, look, I really want to run one in Singleton. What do you think? And obviously they were all on board with that. And so I just went ahead and started looking for a venue, and I found one. Got a hold of Alex, and he was like, yeah, let's just do it, man. Let's make it happen. So we tried to slot in a date that actually worked with this gigantic amount of events this year, and managed to just get one. But it took a lot of preparation and that sort of thing. But yeah, we come up with a date, and we got an event, and here we are.
Here we are. The big day is almost here, right? So, is this the first of many Hunter GTs planned for the rest of this year, or is it this to be an annual event? You think moving forward, hopefully?
Yeah, look, this is only the first one planned. I'd like to say that it will be an annual one, which I'd hope. If it could be maybe a once every 6 monthly thing, I'm not sure. We're gonna have to see what the rest of the tournament scene looks like this year. I know most of it's pretty packed, so I would say annual thing definitely. But yeah.
And is this your first time being a TO for a GT sized event? Is this your first time, or have you done this in the past multiple times, Jake?
Yeah, look, this is my first time actually proper TOing. I've jumped in a few times and helped out at various other events and stuff like that while I'm not playing, just to help some guys out with rules questions and that sort of thing. But no, this is the first one for me, so it's gonna be a big learning curve for me. I'm pretty excited about it though. There's lots and lots of good guys in the community. Plus, we have a lot of really experienced heads coming along to the event this weekend, so I'm not worried in the slightest. I think everybody's pretty comfortable where we are with 10th edition now. So it's still simplified, not simple. We know that, but I'm sure we'll be right.
I don't know. Some of those 40K rulings, sometimes my simple brain can't understand them. So, look, I'm sure you'll do great, Jake. Look, as you said, the New South Wales wider community is fantastic. Most people know what the hell's going on. So, you'll make it work just fine, I am sure. And just be a stern dictator when you get a judge call. You say, judge, jury, executioner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've spent all weekend building terrain, and I'm ready to answer rules questions already. I'm sick of terrain, so it's fine.
Yeah, and we've already got Glaves in chat being like, I'm gonna call you up, Jake, for a really niche ruling that no one knows the answer to, then complain about the TO not knowing his rules.
Well, that's a one-shot penalty for putting me on the spot like that. I hope you know.
Awesome, man. So One thing I'd really love to dig into a bit to follow on from what Sam was saying is, what are your core values for the Hunter GT? Like, what is what you were trying to instill at this event for the rest of the community?
Yeah, so I mean, Alex and I are people that do pride ourselves on not only the competitiveness, definitely in the tournaments, but player conduct, sorry, and making for a relaxed, fun environment that, like, even some of the newer players that are coming along can really get a part of and feel like they're part of the community. For me, that's one of the biggest things. Like, we're it's a volunteer thing, right? We're all there to roll dice and have a good time. Nobody wants to have a bad time. Everybody, like, it's understandable. You could get beat by a lot better player, but it's just all about the experience as well and making sure that everybody has a great time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So,
And that's why we're trying to make it a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more fun. We're gonna, we'll be offering a few drinks tickets. We'll be doing a trivia on the Saturday night as well, which is a bit of fun in between to break up things. And yeah.
yeah, awesome, man, awesome. Sounds like a wonderful event in the making. So with that in mind, let's jump in to actually looking at the tournament format itself. We're going to talk about the players pack and the missions and terrain layouts and all that fun stuff for you guys. And of course, Twitch has decided, no, I'm going to absolutely screw you over here. And not Twitch, sorry. OBS is going to do a dumb thing. And it's not going to pick up the right image, which is stupid. Absolutely stupid.
Good old technology, right? It's
Oh.
always reliable. Always reliable technology.
As they say, right? Cool. Some of you would have gotten a shot of the Twitch dashboard for a second there.
Oh,
the back end. But all right, so we've got the players pack up on screen for you guys so we can have a look. So you aim for 100 players, but where have things landed up currently?
yeah. Look, currently, I think we sit at 60, 64 players. We did have quite a few drops. I think we got up close to 76 or 77, I think, somewhere there. And understandably, big events like this, things happen. People had to drop. I think we're still trying to chase up a few rusty stragglers on lists, but it's only 3 or 4 there, which look, I think at this point, if they haven't made contact and they haven't dropped the list, it's a pretty good indicator that they're probably going to drop from the event. So, but we'll keep on to that and see how we go. So I think we got 60 definites with lists. So yeah, I mean, for the first event for me, I think that's unreal.
Yeah, awesome. So for entry, it was $80. Now, there's something actually really special that you guys are doing with the tickets. So do you want to just kind of share a bit about that?
Yeah, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to put a percentage of the ticket sales towards our good friend Carlos. And for those who don't know Carlos is an amazing guy in the community, loves his Warhammer. Even he's such a great hobbyist too. Always enthusiastic, happy, go lucky sort of guy. And unfortunately, he had a bit of a fall. I believe it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was while he was just on a night out with his partner, and now he's basically holed up in a wheelchair and learning to do all these different things again. So we're a great community. We love getting together and getting behind people. And so this is what we wanted to do, and we wanted to really help him out with this thing. So also the GoFundMe link is in our players pack, and we'll also have it on the event page and that if anybody wants to donate any more money.
Yeah, for sure. And then we got Lost Crusader in chat, who I know who this is, and Jake, you'll know who it is when I say this. There's also a T-Sons army being raffled off, with all the proceeds from that also going towards Carlos as well.
Yes, yeah. So this entire army, again, just to prove how good a community that we have, has been donated by people in the community. I know Andrew Sherman with his painting services is commission painting the whole thing. He's actually even donated probably half the army as well. And I don't know if you've seen any of Andrew's work, but it is bloody amazing. So the trim on these T-Suns are just ridiculous. It sounds like torture to me, to be honest, but to be doing it for free as well is just unbelievable. So it's completely donated, and 100% of the ticket sales will be going straight back to help out Carlos as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. You know, a massive shout out to Twisted Brush Studios, I believe is Andrew goes under.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. I was like, oh, I can't give him a shout out and not get his
His
yeah,
stuff.
we'll come back to that. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm pretty sure it's Twisted Brush.
Yeah, he said in chat it is. So yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
So with that kind of, you know, I love that kind of thing. Like I've been a big proponent of the Exterminatus events in terms of like the charity efforts that they do. So it is awesome to see other charity efforts happen within the community to, you know, not just for wider things, but also to support members of the community as well, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Let's jump into some of the details in terms of the schedule for the tournament. Saturday is a 9 a.m. start and Sunday is a 10 a.m. start. So pretty easy start on the Saturday, I'd say. Not Saturday, sorry, Sunday.
Yeah, look, and you see that pretty common across the board now with the GTs. You start that the second day an hour later, rather, because you've only got the 2 games. Guys get to have a bit of a sleep in. If there's a few guys that might have had a few beers at trivia the night before, then yeah, it just allows for that little bit extra to recoup, you know?
Yeah, 100%. All right, then the venue, it is held at Club Singleton in Singleton. For those who are attending, it's going to be really good. And, you know, as you mentioned already, there's a whole bunch of there was a bit of room block happening for some of the guys, which is awesome. So maybe in the future, if you if you want to attend the next Hunter GT, keep an eye out for that, because that might be something that helps with your travel if you do want to attend the next Hunter GT, which is going to be great. Then we get into the schedule, which has also got the missions. So this is gonna be fun. So before we jump into talking about the missions, Rego's from 9 a.m. on day 1, with round 1 kicking off at 9:30, and you've gone for 2 hours 45-minute rounds. Do you want to kind of just explain like why you decided to go with that value? I know that Alex probably had a bit of a say in that as well, but just from your perspective, what are your thoughts behind that selection?
Yeah, look, I've played a lot of events, and I think that the 2 hour 45 is pretty standard across most of them. I think having that like 10 minutes to discuss your armies and that sort of thing, 5 minutes dedicated to doing your secondaries, your roll-offs, attacker, defender, and that sort of stuff, and then the hour and 15 each to 2 hour 30 on the clock is more than enough that you should need to get through your game. Plus, it sort of comes into line with a lot of the top level events and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely agree. I do like how you can use a 2 hour 45-minute round, just how you were saying, like everyone can start evenly with an hour 15 each. You got that 15 minutes extra to talk through stuff. It's really solid.
Yeah, look, and if you're quick enough to rattle through your armies and set up, and it's more the time 2 years really.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll jump into talking about the missions as we go through the schedule. So round 1, Scorched Earth with Crucible of Battle and Raise Banners. This is a mission you don't typically see as a first round one.
Yeah, and look, I can take 0% credit for any of these missions. So if you don't like them, please blame Alex. But
Great strategy there, Jake. I was going to say, like, that's the purpose way, right? You just take none of the recognition, but you put all the blame on Alex. Okay, so when you lose, it's like because it's all Greek Alex's fault.
Look, he's not here to defend himself. He might be in chat, but that's fine. But yeah, look, I had a good look over him when he first sent them to me, and I thought they're all pretty spicy, really, and I like it.
Yeah, nice.
No, I also know. I'm sure Scott's about to talk about this as well. So, let you mention the layouts of layout 4, and then different layouts along the way. So, you've chosen obviously GW terrain. Then, is there a reason you guys for this event have chosen GW layouts and GW terrain?
Not specifically. I think it just worked well with the mission play that we wanted to use, really.
Yep.
Keeping it nice and simple. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think...
mean, I just played it at Masters and, doing the WTC and then having a different WTC layout for every map that we did too. That was that was strenuous.
Yeah. It's also like to add a bit more context between, having spoken with Alex as well. Kind of a bit of his rationale behind it is that because we've got, Pete and the guys in Western Sydney doing so many teams events on WTC, Alex really wanted to kind of start to pivot the singles events a little bit more towards running GW stuff. So there was more variety in terms of terrain layouts for those who do travel interstate for different events, so that it's not like, cool, we're just always playing on WTC and then you go to, maybe you go to Victoria or go down to Tasmania for a singles event and they're like, oh, we're running GW layouts. It's then, okay, cool. I don't really have much experience on those now. And so you have to kind of pivot your thinking. Whereas if you're playing, in New South Wales now, there is that, you can play on teams. It's expected that you're playing on WTC, and most teams events are on WTC. And when you're playing on singles, most events are either WTC or on majority of the time they're on GW or something similar. So having those for the singles events as well is really solid. I know Alex is in chat as well. Yeah, and he's just said 2 of his favorite people and me.
What was that one? Sorry, I missed that.
Alex is just saying 2 of my favorite people. Oh, and Scotty.
Plus, with an event like this, everything's easily accessible and put into the app, right? As well, so it makes things a little bit easier. Like I said, we're sort of going with a bit more of a fun, relaxed atmosphere with this event as well. So anything we can do to make it a little bit easier for the guys, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Along the same line of questioning, so have you implementing the WTC charging rules or WTC FAQs at all, or are you going to keep it fun and fair and just use GW stuff so that way any first-timers don't have to read a 500-page FAQ document and illustrative examples of how the hell to do a charge?
Look, I think we'll be keeping it pretty simple, yeah.
Oh, so people can stay over an inch away from the walls? Is that what you're saying, Jake?
Look, we haven't discussed this yet between Alex and I. We'll announce it before we start the event.
The little cheeky surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
be ready. Be ready for anything, guys.
Yeah, I think there is an FAQ section in the players pack, so we might well find the answer in the pack for that exact question. Cool.
It's what the players figure out, right? Like the players, you just better read the FAQ of the players pack, right? Even though we may go through it on screen today, I mean, you guys still got to read it and find out.
For sure. That's why players packs are important, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why they're a live document that can be edited, right? No, I'm just kidding. No editing.
Yeah. Living documents, But yeah, no, to get back to the mission a little bit, Scorched Earth for round 1 is really an interesting choice, burning objectives at the end. It really does challenge some play in the game. On Crucible, it's your angled short table edges. And then raise banners is an extra point on secondaries when you get battle line onto objectives. So I think it's interesting because you can't necessarily late game banners. So you kind of need to front load banners if you want those extra points. Because if you burn an objective and you haven't banners it, well, there goes one victory point.
Yeah. Which, I mean, can be clutch. Might not matter at all, but
yeah,
you never know.
Yeah, for sure. Then you've gone for an hour lunch break, which is always nice. I know players do quite enjoy having a decent sit down for lunch and not have to, stress about, oh, am I going to get the food quick enough and then I can eat, and that kind of stuff as well. So an hour lunch break is primo, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And I've already spoke to the kitchen at the venue, and we're going to do a set menu for the guys, probably 4 or 5 different meals, a couple of different choices, just so it makes it easier for the kitchen, quicker to come out, and I'll probably, do it in a bit of a rows system so we can sort of number off as each guy goes through and, do it that way.
Yeah, nice.
Any cheeky recommendations, Jake, for people who are first time to Club Singleton? Is the chicken parm on top tier? Is it like an A tier rating, or is it like, oh, it's okay?
Look, they do Thai, so for me, I'm go the Pad CU, Pad Thai. Can't go wrong there, really.
Oh, pretty cultural for Singleton. I'm very impressed.
And it's really good, actually. It's really good.
Yeah, nice. And just to add a little bit of a note, Alex has mentioned in chat, banners helps keep a closer game on Scorched as well, with a few extra bits to change the tide in terms of point scoring as well. So really solid. I'll be interested to see the stream game for that one, to see how that actually plays out in practice. Next up, we've got round number 2, which is Purge the Foe. Search and destroy on Fog of War on layout 4. So the thing I'll mention as well, round 1 is also layout 4, so it means that you won't have to set up the terrain round 2 after lunch.
Which is great. The guys don't have to rush straight back to change their table. We'll worry about that when we get to the third round.
Yeah. Purge the Foe is your classic 8th edition mission for those who have been around long enough for that, where it's kill one, kill more, and score one objective and hold more than your opponent. And then Search and Destroy Table Quarters, Fog of War. Now this one from memory is
no core straps in the first round.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no cheeky heroics or anything, or grenades off the start.
Yep. Which is really interesting considering there's only 18 inches between deployment zones and turn 1 charges can happen.
Yeah, exactly. So
you better not do that CP reroll then. You better be praying that you make that charge. You might be the CP reroll for that cheeky 1 damage. Like, oh no!
Yep.
Yep. It's always a fun one. When more times than not people forget, it's like, oh crap, I can't Overwatch. Shivers.
Yeah.
Oh,
no. Yep. Lost Crusader just mentioned that in chat as well. No Overwatch as well is another big one too. All right, rounds.
So Jake, obviously, Purge the Foe is quite a controversial mission. Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Go for it, Sam.
Backwards Toowoomba internet is hitting to me right now. So, obviously, a little bit of a controversial mission in here in Purge the Foe. I know some people are staunch defenders of Purge the Foe, and some could not wait for it to be out of the mission pack, and they may not even summon it through an event if it has Purge the Foe in it. What's the justification for such, or are we just blaming Greek Alex again?
Look, we could blame him, but I'm a very big believer for Purge. I think it's great. I think it's one of my top favorites, to be honest. So, it's we will collectively own that one.
Yeah, I personally like Purge as well. There have been people I've spoken to in the community that enjoy it as around a day 1 mission rather than a day 2, just because then it's not as swingy, as well. In terms of like, it's not as matchup dependent, right? On well, it is a matchup dependent mission. Let me misspeak there. But what I mean is that it's a lot easier to navigate it earlier in an event in that situation and not feel like, okay, cool, round 4, I'm on Purge and I face an army that doesn't give up a lot of kills and I give up a lot of kills. It prevents feels bad late in an event. Whereas, you know, having it round 2 means that you're not going into day 2 being like, oh, I've got to play on Purge. I've got to worry about what I'm playing into. It's like, no, I've just got to play the primary game and I've just got to worry about what cards I draw. That's it. So I think that's kind of the viewpoint that a lot of players also have around Purge as well. Then round 3, and I like this one already, Take and Hold, Hammer and Anvil, Prepared Positions on layout number 8. So prepared positions from memory is Heroic Intervention and Go to Ground is 0 CP for Battle Line, which is really nice. Hammer and Anvil is your short table edges, and then Take and Hold. Hold an objective for 5 points to a max of 3. So really, really simple mission for round 3, which I quite like.
Yeah, look, if you're ever at an event and they send you into a really hard mission round 3 of day 1, they're dicks. It should be a common courtesy that the 3rd mission of day 1 should be quite a simple mission.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And you got to save some brain power, right, for the trivia afterwards. So you got to make sure your competitors are nice and happy and fresh, right? Because obviously, like almost 9 hours worth of 40k isn't enough before a trivia. You need to keep the classes also fine.
Yeah, because as if you didn't want to think even more after that, but you know, at least you can involve a couple of beers and kick back a bit while you do it.
For sure, and grab a feed.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah. So
and by then you might be over the carb coma from the entire food from before. So you go for round 2 later on.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pad see you at lunch, pad thai for dinner.
Yep.
Perfect.
Nice. And then and then Alex has just put in chat Purge the Pad CU, of course.
Look, that will happen. That will happen.
Oh gosh! All right, so yeah, trivia is from 7:30 to 7 kickoff around 7:30, 7:45. So you got about 45 minutes to an hour. Have a feed, grab drinks, whatnot to come and hang out for a little bit that evening. You know, in a non-gaming environment. And have some fun playing trivia. Are you going to be doing it in teams, or is it going to be each person is out for themselves?
No, we'll do it in teams. We'll definitely do it in teams. I'll have a couple of boxes because I'm a big fan of you'll put your phone in the box, otherwise you're a cheat. So, but no, we'll have a few fun prizes and stuff for that as well. So for anyone that wants to hang around, it'll be some good light entertainment to finish the night.
Yeah, nice. All right, day 2. Looks as though it's a pretty quick tip-off. Like you're going 10 a.m., get in there, 10:15 round start. Like, so if you're in attendance, probably look to get there at 9:45 in the morning.
Yeah, not just straggle along like we do see some events. We're being lenient by pushing it to 10, so there's no reason we can't get it started within 15 minutes of getting there.
Yeah. Just for everyone's benefit, is there an earlier opening time at the venue than 10? Like, do they open at like 9:30, or is it the 10 a.m. open?
We should be able to get in there at 9:30, which I'll double confirm in the event chat. So if you're not in that, make sure you click going and jump in it. But we should be able to get there quite early.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds solid. Sounds really solid. So round 4 mission. Scorched Earth again with tipping point on hidden supplies.
Yeah, look. Yeah. Why not?
What are your thoughts, Sam?
But the Greek does know this. The Greek does know there's more than 4 primary missions in the players pack, right? Like there's more than 4 primary missions you can actually play in the whole of Pride Nexus, all right? But look, simple minds do simple things, okay? Played Scorched Earth, it's nice and easy. After a big hangover at the Club Singleton, I guess it makes sense. And look, obviously you have hidden supplies, which makes things a bit more interesting, having split the objectives. You're on tipping point, so you split. I guess, is there a predetermined... Have you guys made a judgment or you just roll off for tipping point angles? I think you roll off. I have to double check. I think it's you split. You can flip the splits because it's not determined with hidden supplies.
Yeah. I believe it'll be away from your home towards the... We'll be ruling towards like the opposite ways from you. Yeah.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah, got you. That makes sense. So, this one's like the, for people listening in a car ride or whatever, it's the GAW layout 1, which has the big Super L sort of in the middle, but roughly. So, if you can envision, big Super L's at home and the Super L's in the middle, if you can envision what that table layout looks like. So, having the objective split a little bit looks sweet. So,
I dare say by looks, the layouts that are in the pack are taken from Tabletop Battles app, so when we get to round 4, it might actually show them as well. And then Palitak has just thrown in chat that it means you can hold the 2 middle ones from behind the Super Ruin. So the idea is that it goes to top left to bottom right on that diagonal there.
Yeah.
But really.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Yep. But yeah, 3 objectives apiece. You can burn 2. Each player gets to burn 2, and you can really, score 50 points then on Scorched Earth, and get a relatively high scoring one for round 4, which is nice.
Yeah, well, look, you can both play quite conservatively and still both score high on primary, and then it really come down to secondaries. Are just it makes it very interesting.
Yeah. And Palitek has just said, which is Alex, it's a test in pushing the opponent round 4. So it's like a late game aggression push to see if you can stop your opponent burning their objectives. Which definitely makes sense.
There's always a method to the madness with the Greek.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just want to copy Control-C, Control-V one more time, just copy the same primary mission. Sure. Yes, some logic behind it, I guess so.
Of course. So another hour for lunch on this day 2, which if there's any sore heads, they're going to be happy about that.
Yeah.
Then this one, I'm really intrigued by this next one. Round 5 is Burden of Trust on Search and Destroy with Fog of War on layout 6. Burden of Trust round 5 is an interesting choice.
Look, Again, it was Alex that picked the mission, so that's fine.
See, we're just trying to average things out, okay? So obviously round 4 we have all the primary, so you'll all score 50 primary. Then round 5 you'll score 8 primary, and then average things out. It'll work
Exactly.
things out.
Exactly, and we all know Burden of Trust is the one that probably has the most skewed data out of any of the missions, because just the way that it can drastically score. And it's a bit of a mind jail to the last game. But it will make for some very interesting last round scores.
Yeah, definitely
agree.
agree.
Reread that Burden of the Trust primary mission text, so when you can guard an objective. Have you read it and reread it, Jake? And have you got that ruling on lockdown? Can we guard our home field objective? When can we guard? When do we score it?
No, my mind's been on terrain. That will be me all day frantically reading on Friday.
Fair enough. And then about half an hour after a short 15-minute break, half hour or so for awards and pack up for the event. which is really solid. So everyone gets away at a reasonable time, 5:30. So if you got to drive a few hours, you've got some, you're not driving it in pitch black. Basically, you can get an hour or two into the drive, and it's not night. Basically.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. It's not really getting dark in anywhere in New South Wales until like 8 o'clock. So you've got a good couple of hours, really. Most people, by the time it's still light or starting to get dark. So yeah.
For sure. Then we've got each of the layouts on screen. So the layout for round 1 is layout 4. So it's got the U-shaped ruins on your home objective, and it's like the bottom right / top left corner for each deployment is where the center of the objective is. So it's a little bit outside of the ruin, but you can also hold it from safety. The top left and bottom right objectives you can hold in safety, and the middle one is out in the open with some angles that you can kind of hide behind. But if units get beat on, then it's you're gonna get shot or charged, and you're in the open.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Next is same layout, but it's on Scorch. So, not Scorch, Search, which is pretty interesting in terms of staging. I do quite like that you can hold the objectives in the, out of line of sight as well on the top left, bottom right in terms of the objectives. The middle is still quite open once again, but you've got that staging. So if one player decides, okay, I'm going to go for objective, the middle objective, top around 5, you can then go, okay, cool, I've got my a brick staged for round for the bottom of turn 5. I'm going to move out, deal with that unit, score that middle objective to get those extra 5 points. So yeah. And Alex, I'm not repeating that, brother. Trying to trip me up there, mate.
With the layout you've chosen, obviously you can sort of stage your natural expansion in the top left, natural expansion objective pretty safely, and then try and obviously look to try and hold more by maybe knocking your opponent off their natural expansion, or maybe if you have something that's quite durable in the center, like it's pretty open season in the middle there. You're not hiding anything there, but look, obviously you can try and push for that late game hold more, or try and get an extra 4 differential, and it's a great layout with multiple staging areas. I'm a big fan, and Jake, you've chosen well for the terrain. We won't give Alex and Green Sauce any dopamine, okay?
Look, it's all fresh new terrain too, freshly built. My hands will show that. Thanks, Dan Cherry, for some being laser cut really well, some being not so well. But yeah.
Those are the budget train pieces, okay? Those ones were the 50% off, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's why we got them cheaper. No.
I'm a big fan of like Daniel Giri and the Tip Top Terrain guys. Like I've got my own set from them. Massive shout out. So love that stuff. So
yeah. Oh, great terrain, epic terrain. Definitely can't knock him on that.
Yeah, for sure. And Tip Top Terrain is a sponsor of the ATWN as well. So really appreciate Dan's support of what we do here at the network, as well as all the tournaments he supports, not just in New South Wales, but also across other states as well in Australia, which is great. So if you want to grab any tournament style terrain, whether it's WTC or GW layouts, make sure to check them out. We'll have the links in the description below on the YouTube video for those who are interested.
Yep.
So
and don't forget his mats as well, which we will be sporting thanks to him at the event. So yeah, definitely really good mats. Yep.
Next one is round 3. So this is Hammer and Anvil on I think it was layout 8 from memory. This is where you can hold your home completely behind that L in the middle. You've got some good staging for the left-hand side player at the top. Bottom is for the right-hand side player, where you can hold that objective behind that U-ruin with a lot of, open area right in front. And then the middle objective in No Man's Land can be taken, but it's going to be like you got to get the angle right, or it's a shooting, not necessarily much of a shooting gallery, I should say. I more expect that to be a tar pit of combat on that, on this map.
Yeah, I think so. Especially with the way that, that the funky smaller ruin, being on all four corners there, can sometimes be a bit hard for bigger models to move in and around. So I would say it would be a lot of close unit melee units in there, but it does pose a couple of open shooting lanes, as you said, if you're not careful.
Yeah, I think. Go for it, Sam.
You're going to be rumbling in the jungle in the middle there. That's for sure. It's a little secluded.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah. But it's always also funny. Like, there's actually quite open shooting lanes. Like, if you look like north, south, or east to west, like straight down the line. Like, oh right, I can actually get shot pretty easily here. But looking at it generally and how way it plays out is generally you sort of melee rumble in there, and you have to like sacrifice a unit to the pit in order to trade on that middle objective, one way or the other.
Yeah, and I mean, look, even with the smaller ruins, the way they can sort of block some line of sight, if you're on that top or bottom objective, you've got a clean slate, like a line of sight straight through to all the way to the top, like.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this one plays out as well. Round 4. This is your tipping point 1, so you're going to be. It doesn't have the objective shown, unfortunately, for this one, but yeah, we do know that it's going to be behind those 2 L's in the center. So that. Be able to hold those, and then you've also got the 2 far most left and far most right in the no man's land that are going to be a lot more in the open. You have to be on that 2-inch or less section of the terrain. So if you're holding that objective, you get the benefit of the terrain, but you can also be shot. So there's a small pocket where you can sit off but not be shot, but you can still be charged by basically anything in the game. So you're still in an exposed position. Home is really well protected on this map. Because you're able to hold your home. Basically, nothing can see you on that other side unless they deep strike into your backfield or come around with fast assault units to get into combat. I think it's really good for the extra objective mission because it means, you can avoid rumbling as we were talking about earlier. It's quite a conservative deployment. You're not pushing until late game as well.
I love a good rumble.
Yep. And then for map number 5, we've got, this one was, I'm trying to remember now, it's layout 6, I think.
Layout 6, Burden and Crushed, Search and Destroy.
Burden, how could you forget Burden?
Oh, it's more the layout number. That's what I couldn't forget. I knew it was like those items, but it was the layout number. Anyway. So, Search and Destroy, really straightforward. Burden of Trust for this deployment is really interesting because you kind of can hold it in the top left, bottom right, just past those 2-inch ruins. If you have like a small enough base, you got to be on a 25 mil. I don't think a 28's getting that. I don't think a 32 is getting that. You have to be placed onto that terrain. So it makes most armies more than likely go towards that ruin and actually position themselves close to their opponent's side of the table to actually hold that in safety without being shot from anything that's in the middle or pushing kind of some of those lanes. So midfield, you do have the firing lane from home field to home field, so you've got to bear that in mind. Alex is saying you can fit onto it. Okay, good to know. It's good to know that you can while still being fully behind. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of base size limitation you have for that one. Barely, but yeah. Okay, cool. So you barely can. Your home field, again, you can hold pretty easily, but it is in the open. You can protect it quite easily with those the 2 L-shaped ruins that are closer to the middle, but they're kind of splitting up that fire lane along the long table edges between the top 2 objectives and the bottom 2 objectives. So you can stage and pressure the midfield objective really well, but at the same time, you also are denying any pressure coming back at your home field. So it's a really solid staging map, but at the same time, this is round 5. You're going to want to push to get those points if you need them. So I'm actually really interested to see how everyone performs on this mission.
Yeah, and I do apologise to everybody, but it will be fun to see some people sweat in on that last round. It's where champions are made.
100%. Got to challenge people some way.
Yeah, look, it'll keep them coming back.
Primary won't be scored, but champions will be made.
Yeah. Low scoring champions.
Yep. And it's the RNG of the cards.
Yes.
All right. So now that we've gotten through the missions and the terrain layouts and stuff, let's talk about some of the other fun things going on. Which you got your prize support for the event, where you've got top 3, so first, second, and third. You've also got one of my personal favorite prizes, and I love that this is included, is Renaissance Man or Renaissance Person. So for those people who don't know what this prize is, and we've seen more tournaments pick this up actually, which is really cool. It is the best combined painting or hobbying score and the combination with your battle points. So whatever the highest score is between those two, in terms of those being added, whoever gets the highest of those is really solid there. And just some comments from Alex. We seem allergic to Burden, Ritual, and Terraform when they are still better than the football. Yes, they are still always going to be better than Unexploded Ordnance. So yeah. And Burden gives 2 points for home, still only 1 point less than Linchpin. That's very true. That is very true. In terms of the rest of the prize, you've got Best Sports, Best Painted, Wildest List. Like, whoever brings the craziest list. Nice. And a few other small prizes as well.
I think that's just such a challenge, wanting to take that, wildest list, but then also be competitive as well. I think it's great. It'll bring a few out of the woodworks, I'll tell you that much.
So what are some considerations there, Jake, when you're awarding the Wildest List award? Is it the craziest list title with some stupid YouTube links or Google links are somehow in there, or a meme as part of the list submission, or is there like actual 40k units? That's wild.
Yeah, look, there's again, this one specifically is Alex's, but I would say, knowing him, there's no real holdbacks there. It's whatever we deem just the most batshit crazy list to bring to a GP is what we're going to pick.
Yeah.
So you're saying if you can bribe Alex and Gleesos the most, you'll win this award? Got you. All right, nice and easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We do have a question from Randos in chat about Renaissance Person. Does it include the sports score as well? Not sure if you guys are including that, but traditionally, in terms of the way that sports is awarded, it doesn't really function too well with integrating into the Renaissance Person award. But I'm not sure if you guys are doing something a bit different, Jake.
No, you're right there. Yeah, look, it's a little bit harder to skew like that into it, but yeah, I think we just keep it the same. Yeah,
too easy. All right, then we get on to a few other staples. So model requirements, of course, no proxies. Any conversions have to be approved by the TO prior to the event. Again, message you guys directly to get those approved. And
like if you're really not sure, ask, because 9 times out of 10, if you're iffy about it, it's probably going to be a problem. So message one of us. I know Alex and I have received lots of messages and text and that sort of thing about different paintings and proxies, and we're more than happy to sort it out well before the event.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be WYSIWYG war gear, which makes sense. Models of weapons should be easily recognizable and have identical dimensions and bases to the GW model that they are to represent. So if you're using alternative third-party prints and such, make sure they're identical to their GW counterparts. if you are doing so as well. And we've got a whole bunch of people just throwing in what they think the wild list's going to be. I'm going to rattle some of these off because some of these are quite funny. Alex is saying someone running a Harridan, Lost Crusaders like 60 Tactical Marines, 120 Gretchen. Alex is also saying like 60 Heavy Intercessors, anything with 60 in the list of something. Captain Steve, thanks.
Except the cultist.
Captain Steve said 60 Eldar Guardians. Could also be 120 Eldar Guardians because you take 6 Guardian Defenders and 6 Guardian Storm Guardians as well. But Necrons just get completely thrown out of that one as well because they can just run so many bodies in their lists. But yeah, also Captain Steve, thanks for the follow earlier. I did see that as well. So yeah, really stock standard for your model requirements and expectations. In terms of sportsmanship and conduct, really simple. Don't be a dick. is the long and the short of it, right?
Exactly. Don't be a dick. Be a good person. We've all taken time out of our weekend to come spend time together doing the thing we love. There's no need to be a wanker about it. Just be a decent human being.
Yeah, 100%.
But then, Jake, I see there's other elements added to the sportsmanship and conduct rules pack, which I saw before, and I love it. These are definitely included for yourself. So, I mean, all players yelling "wah." I mean, is there a precise decibel level they have to reach in order to fulfill the requirements of said "wah," or like before they're being a dick, or can they do a delicate business-like "wah" and hand over a business card? Like, what's going on?
No, I encourage very loud wahs. If you're gonna do it properly. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough. And then the other one is that everyone gets to yell for the Emperor once. Use it wisely. Guard players are exempt because we feel bad for them. But I don't know if we're going to feel that bad for them now with their new codex.
No, I don't think we are, and we're pretty happy to be one of the very first few events to have the Guard codex in full flag, which I'm sure everybody will be frothing on. Yeah, there's so many. As I know, as the current Guard player, there's so many tools in that toolbox. They're really good at the moment.
Yeah. And Alex is saying, nah, we still feel bad for Guard. They don't have any imagination for this game. Savage. Absolutely savage.
Yeah, we're all just point and click, right?
Cool. The other important thing is that also it is a licensed venue, so make sure to act appropriately. Make sure you're treating staff members with respect and such as well. And then, if you're not performing, if you don't have good conduct, there's a warning, and a second offense may result in being disqualified and asked to leave the venue, which is definitely fair.
Yeah, that's it. Comes back to the just don't be a dick. Yeah.
Yep.
But you missed one there, Scotty.
Did I miss one? Oh yeah, the RSA. So and also don't touch other players' models unless you're asked to.
Yeah, that too. But you missed one in the top, but it's not mandatory. But feel free to give the TR players a hug. It's not their fault. They play a fake army.
I'm not going to spoil the meta breakdown, but I don't think that's going to matter, brother.
There could be some fake TR.
Sure. Then you've got a whole bunch of rules in there in terms of regards to timing and chess clocks. So you've got some recommendations there that we've already kind of discussed as well. And then, using the BCP round timer and all that. And then, the only person who can stop the clock is the TOs. And if you need to stop the clock, then obviously, get the TO as soon as possible to do so. Some other guidelines, and then make sure to come along to the event, roll some dice, have some fun, and enjoy yourselves as well, which is always great. So,
and look, we do encourage clocks. I think if you're wanting to step to that level, you want to be playing at that competitive level. and just for probably so that player fairness as well. Run by that clock.
Yep. Yep. Palitex just said I'm bringing like 30 of them. So if you don't have them, there'll be some available to borrow. So which is awesome. Which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
All right. So I reckon let's jump into the meta breakdown, and I'm gonna let Sam take this away.
Sure thing. So, as we can see on screen, got quite a diversity of factions taken. So we have 18 Space Marine players, 5 which are Blood Angels. Scott or Jake, can you confirm, are they all like traditional Blood Angels, like all for the Sanguine, or are they fake imposter Dark Angels, which are taken on the recent meta trend of
Being Bloodless Angels.
Bloodless Angels?
Yeah, there he is. He caught up for a second there.
Bloodless Angels?
Don't actually know. So one of the things that we've decided to do for this tournament preview, as there are those 4 lists that we're still waiting on, we haven't done a detachment breakdown that we normally would, and we're also not going to look at players' lists this evening. Just in case these other players who haven't gotten their lists in are still planning on attending, it does mean that we don't want to give them that extra information ahead of the event. So that's just something that I took into consideration. So I haven't had a look, to be honest. I do know that some of the players who were on Dark Angels have previously just played traditional Blood Angels by taking Dante, Mephisto, and all that. So I don't mind, seeing that change a little bit in that regard as well. Yeah.
Sure thing. So, expanding on all the others, Heretic Astartes faction in Dark Angels. No, I'm kidding. That's part of Space Marines, technically. And then, look, we have Scotty's very own, the Death Watch. Look, double digits. Look, well, 3rd from the top. Look at this. Death Watch Uprising. Let's go. So, Death Watch and 2 players. You got some Sallies. Look at Mr. repping Ben Hader, Alex and Gleeson's favorite Space Marine chaplain, the Sallies. Yourself, Jake, and the Space Wolf.
Yes.
People. The most bland and vanilla of the Marines in the Ultras, 2 people. They got Black Templars, 1, got a single, we got double Raven Guard now. I think since we made this graphic, there's been 2 of them now. So, look, Josh Brody is influencing people, and I know Brody Milton as well, with some stupid Raven Guard meta. But look, we'll move past them, look, oversee them. And they got 1 undisclosed Space Marines chapter. Then for the rest of the Imperium, you have 10 players. So you've got 4 Guard players, 2 Grey Knight players, 2 Imperial Knight players, a Solo Sisters player. Shout out to them. Absolute G's and amazing human beings. You've got 1 Custodes player who will just roll 4-ups and make everyone's lives sad. Better not be you, Nathan Stern, but he's probably the Guard player, so that's okay. Then we have 16 Chaos players. So we've got 5 Chaos Demons. Look, I made a bunch of Legion access. I'm not sure. We'll find out when the lists go live. Then we've got 3 CSM players, 3 Chaos Knight players who are probably all playing 13 War Dogs and then being unoriginal in multiple ways. Maybe, actually, I think Samantha Ison, her name is. She's playing probably Chaos Knights, I imagine, and she loves a big stompy knight just to ruin people's day. So I'm sure there'll be 1 in there. So someone won't be playing 13 War Dogs, the list.
Interestingly enough, Sam is not in attendance.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, well, that's a shame because she is lovely and an amazing person in the community. But look, someone will have to rep a big something of Chaos Knight for her. Then we have 3 World Eaters, 1 Death Guard, and 1 Emperor's Children. Someone getting ahead of the Codex, jumping on the grenade already before the Codex released. And look, I don't know, just doing some extra spice.
Yeah. So that's good mate Ben Cookies. Who has been recently playing Emperor's Children, just using CSM with the Emperor's Children index, basically, is how he's been playing it.
Nice. I see he's jumping ahead of the ITC hobby track or the ITC rankings, get those EC rankings and ending up, just beat the people who make the rules. So there we go. I love it.
Yep.
And then, obviously, Chris Wright has influenced the region. We have 7 Eldari players, but actually 5 Eldar and then 1 Drakari. So, look, I know Chris Wright, unfortunately, is not going to be there in attendance, but his presence will definitely be known in the Eldar community. Then we have 2 two Hivemind players, so one GSE fella and then one Tyranids player. Gotta love the Hivemind. Shout out those fellas. And then maybe the most last but not least, Xenos. So we got 4 people who will be wiring at the top of their lungs over the weekend. Then we got 2 Necron players who will just be can't not wait. They're the best sort of humans. We got 2 Necron players who will probably be letting their models die, then resurrecting them and then telling you, oh, sorry, you haven't killed 20 Necron warriors. I'm very, very sorry. And then you are just sad. Anyways, that's a whole other tangent. The one last but not least, and this may be a double if someone gets their list in. Look at you, Sean, if you are still attending. These are Votan.
Yeah, come on, Sean.
Not to call anyone out, but Sean, if you would like to submit your list, Sean.
Oh, goodness. This meta is really interesting. And yes, Nath, in chat, I know Deathwatch is only 3rd because it's in alphabetical order. I'm aware. But it is honestly a really interesting meta. This is the first time in a number of events that I've seen Space Marines being the highest super faction out of these 6. Which is, it's wild to me how many Marine players there are on the various build. Now, obviously, Blood Angels being really solid at the moment, but seeing such a spread between every other chapter supplement, as well as the core codex itself. You know, we're seeing Raven Guard you've got 2 Ultramarines, 2 Salamanders. And those are the more popular ones that are coming to the forefront from the codex. You're not really seeing White Scars at the moment, or some of these smaller chapters like Imperial Fist you're not seeing, nor are you seeing Crimson Fist, but they're under Imperial Fists. But still seeing Black Templars is really strong. And then shout out to a good mate of ours, Dom Proctor. He is running the vanilla Space Marines. He's just running just his own chapter. He's just no special characters, no nothing. He's just running Marines. So he's doing really great work with those.
He's doing God's work.
They're beautifully painted. Yeah, they're beautifully painted.
And if you ever met Dom, he's a lovely dude. Runs really good events down Wagga.
Yeah. Looking at Imperium, again, as Sam said, it's really surprising to see someone on Adeptus Sororitas at the moment, and good on him. Of course, our resident AdMech player is not playing this weekend in Alex, and so that's why there's no AdMech. But to still see...
does anybody even know what AdMech do yet? I'm still yet to figure it out.
I don't think people have figured it out ever. Outside of Alex.
They're speaking binary and you hope to interpret half the words they say, you know? So go from there.
But yeah, seeing 4 Astra Militarum is quite good, you know, being the first event with the new codex in New South Wales as well is going to be interesting to see how that meta develops. Of course, there would have more than likely been more players if, you know, the Wednesday night boys weren't out with a friend's wedding. You know, I know there's at least 2 guard players among them. So
yeah, look, it would have been nice to see the boys there, but that's understandable.
Yeah, for sure. Life happens, right? So yeah. Then we've got Chaos. Not surprised that Chaos Demons have really come to the forefront in terms of what folks are running. You know, all the different kind of lists in the detachments are doing quite well at the minute. Popular ones is obviously the Slanesh, Legion of Excess. You've got Plague Legion in there as well for Nurgle Demons that's doing well. And even the core detachment as well from the Index is performing quite well with those recent buffs from the Balanced Starter Slate. Some of the other factions there as well, you know, you could roll Emperor's Children in with CSM, of course, so 4 CSM, but, you know, we'll separate it out. You know, it's unfair, in my personal opinion, to separate all of the Space Marines out and not do it for Chaos in this instance. So, may as well. To only see 1 Death Guard is interesting, because Death Guard are actually, you know, in quite a solid spot. If I pull up Stat Check, they're actually sitting at a 54% win rate right now. Now, yes, the data gets updated in 2 days from the weekend just gone, but that's like Death Guard are in a solid spot. So I'm really intrigued that there's only one Death Guard. 3 Chaos Knights, 3 World Eaters, not too surprised there. You know.
Like you had that info just ready to go, Scotty. Just a bit of a shout out there.
It's almost like I have the tab for stat checks sitting there being open already in preparation. So yeah.
Shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, Jake, so obviously before Scotty goes on to the Enos factions and the Eldari ones, any surprises that you see off the cuff right now for yourself, Jake? What did you expect, and was there anything big surprises?
Not really. The spread of Space Marines, yes. I didn't think we'd have the Space Marines players, to be honest. I know there's still that many different builds out there that are competitive, but to see that vast a range of Space Marine is definitely interesting. Probably the amount of the fact that we've only got one Tyrannid player is quite surprising to me. Yeah.
It's quite sad, honestly. It is very sad for the big bugs. I feel sorry for them, but I hope they just crush it. So and it'll make up for it all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, I believe it's our good friend Cal, Big Cal Hutchison. He's playing Nid, so he'll be flying the banner.
Yeah, nice.
Absolute Chad, love that guy.
All right, then we come to Eldari. Now, yes, I did forget to update this number, so it's meant to be 6 players, not 7. I think I got the math a little bit wrong as well, so need to fix those up. But yeah, 5 new Eldar players with the new codex. I believe you guys are running the new codex, that's correct?
Sorry?
Are you guys running the new Eldari codex?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Just wasn't 100%. I figured, but yeah, to see a resurgence in them is really solid. You know, but also seeing one Drukhari player, you know, dedicated on their faction. You know, they've got now 3 detachments that you can technically play, which is wild, and they still don't have a codex. So, yeah, they're not even on the roadmap.
It's another one of our loyal veterans of the long neck, Damien Lang. He loves his Drukhari, and nice. It's always very well presented on a board of LEDs of some sort. Yeah.
I've seen it. He puts work in, for sure.
Yeah.
Then we come to the Hive Mind. 1 GSC player. Now, that GSC player is quite a good GSC player. It's, you know, so don't count them out. Tyrannids, though, they're in a rough spot at the minute. You know, if we do have a look at stat check, they are, you know, sitting at 48%. It's not too bad, but the thing is, their representation is quite low in the meta at the moment. So I think dedicated players on Tyrannids are still playing them, but if they're not necessarily dedicated to the faction, then they're not really jumping in on them, and they're jumping to something else at the moment. That might be, you know, maybe they're just, you know, tickling their ears on how they play at the moment. It could just be that as well. Then
the challenge, Cal, you got to win more than half your games. Bump them numbers up, boy.
Then last we got Xenos. No towel. No towel at all.
Yeah.
But 4 orcs is good to see. I think they're in a pretty good spot at the moment in the meta. And then Necrons have kind of been just a steady faction in this edition. They've been around for a while. You know, people have got figured out builds, but there's also some spice that people are still playing with as well. You know, and then Leagues of O10, because who doesn't like just playing some honest 40k?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Necrons under the right hands is a powerhouse, let's be honest. Yeah, them giant warrior blobs are just so hard to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
You got more to say, Jake?
No. Continue.
Too easy.
Continue.
Well, I'll pass it back to Sam to walk through the faction podium.
Yeah, so as discussed there, so we actually have a tie at the tops between the top number of factions. So you have Eldari, Blood Angels, and Chaos Demons, all at 5 people who take up the #1 spot. So and they make up 23.4% of the players for the event. So look, obviously people doing any last-minute prep between now and then when you're not painting your models, because obviously your army is definitely not ready for this weekend. You've got to get some last-minute hobbying in. That you may look into what those factions do, and then because the odds are you may play into one of them. So then in second place you have Guard and Orcs. So 2 fun play communities and factions to making up 12.5% of the play base there. And then in third place you have CSM, Chaos Knights, and World Eaters at 3 players each. And the faction podium makes up 32 players and 50% of the meta. So very cool to see there. And look, it's nice to see a bit of diversity as we discussed in terms of factions, and not all just gunline shooting. There's a bit of melee in there as well, and I'm very excited to see as the games roll on and onwards. So yeah.
For sure. It's definitely diverse, which is great. Seeing 50% of the event split between 8 factions is actually really healthy. I think, you know, you're seeing, I think if I count that up, there's 12 players between 6 Space Marine factions of just 2 players. Like, everything else is, you know, seeing some representation. There's only 2, oh well. We can say 3 if you want to include Imperial Agents, but, you know, they're probably in someone's list as allies, so they're being represented in some way, shape, or form. But, you know, only seeing 2 major codexes not in attendance is still quite healthy, right? Like, it's a really healthy meta at the moment in general, and I think it's a good spot for the game. With Eldari and Ashram Eltarim, and now we've got Emperor's Children coming out in the coming weeks. It's going to be really interesting to see in the next few months to see how this meta evolves to dealing with those factions, particularly as those players get back on top of their new codexes for Ashram Eltarim and for Eldari, but also new players jumping on Emperor's Children if they want to as well. So yeah. But with that all out of the way, and yes, unfortunately, we're not going to look at lists, guys. I really appreciate everyone who has offered in chat to showcase your list. I really do genuinely appreciate it. I just professionally don't want to give away intel as, you know, being a TO myself, I understand the implications that can have, and we don't want anyone to kind of gain an advantage because we're showcasing lists, even though you guys are willing to do so. Because, you know, you guys can't speak for all of the players in attendance, and, you know, that's something that I want to respect as well. So we are going to jump back, and of course something else is going to hide, and I'm going to be having an absolute meltdown here for a second as all the sources decide to do silly buggers on me. We're going to talk a bit about some of the top players and notable players in attendance for you guys that you can keep an eye on, and we'll just kind of go down the list a little bit. Some of you guys are in chat as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. But going through, and Sam has kindly done up this list for us, so really appreciate that, brother. We've got, and I'll kind of do these in terms of the way that Sam has got them. So we've got them split up in terms of notable local players and then interstate travelers as well. So first up, Andrew Sherman, who is in attendance. He's currently 18th in the Australian ITC. The rankings only went live late last week. So we have that finally available to have a look at for you guys. And it does include events from the 25th of November last year, which means anything after Gonghammer is included in the 2025 season. I was sitting on that call at 6 a.m. in the morning listening to Mike Brandt talk about the changes to the ITC and what they're doing going forward and such. So it was a really good call to be a part of for the ITC TOs. So I think the way that they've done the date change and just going, look, instead of having a short season, what we're going to do is we're going to backdate it basically from the 25th last year forward. Rather than going, we're going to have a super short season this year, from February to November, and then have a regular season next year. I think that was the better way to do it, is just include all the events from the past 3 months or so in 2025. Then, we've already mentioned him, but Ben Cookies, he is in there, part of the Chad Mech team, and he's running Emperor's Children because he's a mad lad like that. You've then got Arian Fanian as well on the Ultramarines, which is pretty solid. He's known for his Ultramarines gameplay, so he's jumping around a lot in terms of detachments over the past little while, but he's still down to the bone and Ultramarines player, which is really solid. You've then got Dan Sherry, who is on the, he's in there. He's going to be solid. It's great to see him in attendance. He's the amount of hobby that this man has done. I think he has painted up more armies than people have actually painted models this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think he's painted up like 3 or 4 armies. It's wild.
It's a shame you can't play any of them. He keeps playing Grey Knights, but keep painting all these different armies. Maybe eventually we'll get up to the Grey Knights.
Yeah. Yeah. And as he's just said in chat 4 in 2 months. And Lost Crusader says, I've painted almost 3 armies in 6 weeks. Oh, oh, you guys are hobby fiends. But yeah, Lost Crusader, they are updated on the Best Coast Pairings website, but there is also going to be a Warhammer events website that is going live in the next couple of months. They'll also have the rankings on them as well. So that is where you can find them if you are hunting for them. But the rankings website won't be live, for another at least 2 months or so is kind of the timeline for that. Then you've got the faithful New South Wales rep for the ANZ TC committee, Mr. Greg McGinnity. He's currently 24th in the Australian ITC because they've gone back to countries as well. So great to see him playing some 40k. I'm sure he's keen to, bust out his Eldari quite possibly and give that a go. You've got the champion of the South Pacific ITC for the last season, Mr. Jordan McGregor, who has continued his run on Imperial Knights. Sorry, I almost said Chaos Knights because they are painted and modeled as Chaos Knights, ironically, with Imperial Agents allies. So he's a weapon at the moment. He's part of Team Australia this year, so really excited to see how he does over there, and keen to see how he performs this year as well. And then got Michael House, another absolute weapon in the New South Wales scene, sitting 23rd in the Australian ITC. And Sam, thanks for throwing that up in chat, brother, for everyone's reference. So yeah, Michael jumps around a few factions. He's got GSC, he's got Orcs, he's got T-Sons. So he's got a lot of like high skill level armies that he's able to play. So it'll be interesting to see what he does run this weekend as well. Then you've got
always amazingly painted, by the way, too.
Yeah, they are phenomenally painted. Particularly his GSC are just those blends on the skin is just wild. You then got Zach Futura, who is one of Team New South Wales' coaches for the ANZTC this year. Predominantly plays Chaos Knights, but is happy to flex into a lot of other factions as well. So it'll be really interesting to see how he goes this weekend. You've then got also the man, the myth, the legend, Woody Woo, from the middle of nowhere. He is a diehard Wolves player. And he's currently 11th in the Australian ITC. So he's doing really well.
Which is weird because he's playing with Votan this weekend. So.
Oh, is he? Oh. A bit of the stir the pot action going on. I see. But yeah. Then in terms of interstate travelers, we've got some from, we've got Dom Proctor from Canberra in attendance, which is absolutely awesome. Dom is a lovely gentleman. Got a wonderfully painted Marine army. We've already said that he's the only space, like the non-factionized Space Marine player in attendance. So it's good to see him. Then we've got from Queensland, we've got
He is-
4 players. Oh, sorry, Jake, go for it.
Oh, I was just about to say he is Astartes incarnate.
Mm.
That's what he is.
Yep. Then from Queensland, we've got 4 players from up your way, Sam. In your state of residence, you've got Jack Dawser, Jamie Wilkins, who has recently moved from being here in New South Wales to being up in Queensland for the past, I think, year or so now. Then you've also got from all the way in Townsville, Matthew Baker and Stephen Hammond.
Yeah, so as far as I'm aware, these guys don't really even know anybody down here. They'd have to know somebody, but yeah, they've both reached out to me, and Steve's been talking to me, saying that he's super keen to come down and play an event. It's been a while between drinks for him, so yeah, they're really keen to both make the trip down here and some dice. Hopefully, our New South Wales people give them the respect that they definitely deserve, and they should have a good weekend.
Yeah, I definitely think they will. The New South Wales scene is always welcoming to interstate players in attendance. So it's going to be a great weekend. We've got the player list up on screen that I'm just slowly scrolling through for you guys. Some other notables that I see. Oh, Detriment coming in with the Prime sub. Really appreciate that, brother. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us on the stream. You got guys like Michael Rutkai as well. He's well known. Let's see, who else have we got? Jordan Duchatel. You got Nate Saunders. You've got, who else? You got Ryan Duchatel in there as well. Obviously, Sean. That we were having a bit of a cheeky go out for not getting his list in as of yet. But yeah, you've also got Todd Saxon traveling from Wagga coming up as well. So Todd is a wonderful human. I believe he's heading up the Exterminatus committee now in terms of running the events and such down there for the Exterminatus tournament. So he's a wonderful gentleman.
Yeah.
So yeah,
another Space Wolves brother. And honestly, if you're coming along, check out Wolves or get on. I don't know. He might potentially be on stream. We don't know. But they are beautifully painted. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So lots of good hobbyists are in attendance as well this weekend, which is awesome. To mention another one is Andrew Towbridge as well.
Yeah, good old tow truck, another vet. I think we actually have maybe 9 or 10 vets coming along to help me out with the glory. So shout out to them guys.
Yep, for sure.
And also Jeff. I'm not sure what he's actually bringing, but I know it's all painted very well.
Yeah. If Rusty could be a contender. There is unfortunately no prize for the worst hobbyist at this one. I don't believe, unless there is a cheeky one that you guys have squirreled away.
No, I don't think so. But I mean, to put a bit of pressure on our guys, given a cheeky little prize away for the highest scoring vet. So we'll see how we go.
Fair enough.
You should get an award called the Barely Battle Ready Award. Like that should be the person who just squeaked by the Battle Ready points. It's like, you know what, you're the worst painted, but you do get your 10 points. And I think ye old Rusty may get those awards. So that's a good old Jack Dawser. So shout out to him and the other Queenslanders who will be making the trip down. Obviously, look, with the cyclone on the way, stay safe. Hope everyone can make it safely and soundly.
Yeah.
Everyone would love to see you down there in the Hunter region.
Maybe that's why they get down here for the weekend, get away from it, play some games, roll some dice, go back up and just miss it all together.
Yep.
You can't return home because all your flights are cancelled and look, you don't want to drive through that terrain, but you'll be in the Hunter region, you'll be away from it all. So there you go.
There's plenty of vineyards to visit.
For sure. But yeah, I'll now pass back to Stan to start wrapping us up for the evening.
Sure thing. So before, as Scotty alluded to, wrapping things up. So Jake, any final shout outs or notable mentions you would like to make before the event?
No, not really. Probably just a shout out to my partner, my compadre, Alex Inglesos in this. Thanks to him for helping me make this happen. Big shout out to Carlos, mate. We couldn't be happier to be putting on this event and out as we can. Hopefully you might be able to come along. If not, man, jump on the stream. You'll be able to watch us. Shout out to Dan Jerry for terrain, mats, and the like. Probably DU40K because I'm gonna probably annoy them to pinch some boards and stuff like that. Well, I don't get all the terrain built, which I think I will. We'll probably try and borrow Hammer some terrain. and Jakey at Good Games and Cal for some prize support stuff, and the venue. Definitely the venue, Club Singleton, for hosting us there, and to you, Scotty, with the ATWN. I don't know if you know Benny that's coming along, Benny O'Rourke. He's a lovely bloke, and I'm sure he'll do you some justice alongside with Alex for the weekend. So yeah,
for sure. It's going to be a great weekend.
Iglesias will be there. Yeah, Alex Iglesias will be there. I don't know how much support and help he will provide, but no, Ben O'Rourke will be amazing.
yeah. So yeah, that is going to wrap us.
He just has this aura of moral support. Fine.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap us up for the tournament preview for the Hunter Autumn GT. I want to thank everyone who has joined us in chat, everyone who dropped follows and subs throughout the stream as well. Really appreciate your support, both the free ways you can do it and the financial ways as well. Now, if you do want to catch the live coverage of this tournament, as Jake and Sam were saying, we're going to have Ben and Alex on commentary for you guys this weekend up in the tournament. They're going to be getting there on Friday, setting everything up, getting it all schmicko going, and they're going to be on commentary all weekend. So make sure if you're around, say good day to them. Make sure they're well hydrated and stuff. They're going to do a great job representing the ATWN at the event. So that stream will just be over on YouTube. So if you want to check us out over there, I'm going to post the socials link in chat for you guys. On that link tree, you can find all the socials, which the YouTube is linked there. Make sure you jump over there, drop a subscribe on the channel, turn on that notification bell so you're notified as to when the streams do go live on Saturday and Sunday as well. I might have to amend the times, but they'll be approximately when they're scheduled over on the YouTube side when they're public. It's going to be absolutely awesome event, and thanks, Jake, for being able to jump on and have us at the event, as well as both of you guys for making time in your evening to jump in and have a chat about the tournament coming up this weekend.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's been good. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Sam's cat, for the background cameo. It's been good.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have jumped in like halfway through for this video, you kind of, for the stream, I should say, and you want to catch the full thing, it'll be published on our YouTube channel tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So make sure to check that out as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it from us here at the ATWN. So for Jake and Sam and myself, ScottyD, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. We hope to catch you for the weekend's coverage of the Hunter Autumn GT. Have a great one, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you next time.
Bye-bye.